Welcome to Electric Evolution with Liz Allan. This podcast is about the journey to a more sustainable future in order for us to be able to do our bit to achieve net zero. I'll be discussing a variety of topics with experts in their field in order to educate and increase our knowledge of clean energy, electric vehicles and the electric vehicle infrastructure. So whether you're an individual wanting to make a difference at home, a small business or a corporate, this podcast is just for you. Right, so on today's podcast, I've got Harrison Hughes, who is the co-founder of Current PR. Now, we met last year, and I still can't believe it's where it was. We met at Fully Charged in Farnborough, didn't we? Fully Charged live.
In the beautiful sun. I mean, how long ago was that? It felt like years ago I've known
Oh, it does. I know, exactly. So it was Shane Reese from Chargy that introduced me, and he was just so kind because so Harrison is in charge. We'll talk about this in a second, but he's in charge of the London to Brighton and etc. EV Rally, and that's what. So me and my husband went on it last year as complete newbies to driving EVs. Oh my god! And Shane was so kind, and we were gifted a Vauxhall Mucker for the journey, and I've talked about that lots before, but not to you. So thank you for joining me, Harrison.
No, thank you for having me. And just talking about your Vauxhall Mucker, I remember Shane messaging me at like 1 a.m. saying, "Right, I've managed to sort Liz a car. This is the registration. Please, can you get her on the ferry over to Paris?" And I was like, right, this is going to be a task because the ferry was all booked up, and we needed you there. We managed to squeeze you in. And it was great. It was good fun. But it was a lot of stress at the time to get everybody on that ferry. But it's come a long way since we first started. So obviously we met last year. I suppose this is the first rally you ever did. The rally has been going since 2021, I believe. I wasn't actually involved then. It was my business partner, Bill Murray, and a man called Tom Druid, who owns the biggest electric bus company in Brighton.
Oh, yes.
So he had a load of new buses come over, and he wanted to see, right, how far can they go on a charge and how efficient are they? You know, this would be a great way to test the buses. And then Bill had the idea of, well, let's invite everybody else. Everyone who's got their electric cars. Remember, this was before the 2030 target of banning all ICE vehicles. And it kind of spiraled from there. So the first year was London to Brighton Electric Vehicle Rally, the classic route of many many other vehicle rallies in the past. And it's now gone from strength to strength to Paris and to
the new one,
which will be announced in June, which will be on June the 22nd, which we'll get onto that in a minute. But it is really moving on, and it's getting a lot more traction. And obviously, now we've got the 2030 ban, people are starting to take it a lot more seriously.
Yeah, exactly. So now that and that one's now moved back to 2035 as well, hasn't it? So you're going to be around for a lot longer than this. But I was going
to, you see the manufacturers, they're saying they're going all electric by 2027. That's what needs to happen.
Yeah, definitely. In fact, the ZEV mandate is kind of, no matter whether it's been put back or not, the ZEV mandate has kind of kept everybody with their eyes focused on sort of 2030 anyway. So the government, I have my own thoughts about that, what the government were doing then, but we won't go into that because that have just been not suitable for this today. But just talk me through a little bit about when somebody registers to go on to, so we're talking this time. It's in, what date is it this time?
22nd of June. Starting in London and finishing in Geneva.
Right. Okay. So, good God. Okay. So we've got what, London to Brighton still?
Yep, so how we're running it this year, I've taken over. So Tom Druid, who was the previous co-founder of the rally, along with Bill Murray, who's done a brilliant job for the past 3 years, is focusing on the international side. So I've taken over as director with Bill Murray for the London to Brighton EV Rally. So we go starting in Westminster at about 7:30 in the morning. We have 100 vehicles in total, a range of vehicles from amazing self-builds. We had some brilliant cars. Like the cars you can't believe, electric trucks, obviously your Teslas, all your normal cars, your Mockeries, electric planes, everything you can imagine will take part. We drive down, which is 60 miles down to Brighton, And the important part is people say, well, 60 miles isn't very difficult, is it? It's my EV can do that 5 times over. Well, it's all about energy efficiency. So we track each vehicle with some very clever software, and it shows us, right, who can go from London to Brighton using the least amount of energy. And then people start running the costs. How cheap can they do it? Some people were free. Some people were getting paid to do it from using amazing energy tariffs. And then when we get into Brighton, we have 2 miles of Madeira Drive, which is kind of, great event space. We have loads of different stands, stalls, exhibitors. EDF Energy are our main partner. They've partnered for the past 3 years. They've, really held the rallies. People can go down there and, get all their energy advice, heat pumps, electric vehicle tariffs, whatever you need, EDF are there. Loads of vehicle test drives, micro mobility, so everyone can get on a bike, electric scooters, give it a try in Brighton, on Brighton Seafront. It's the place to do it.
It is.
And it's just a really, really fun event on Brighton Seafront. And then after we spend the day on Brighton Seafront, we have a celebration party in the evening where we do the awards ceremony. So in the day, we have the very clever people working out who are using the least amount of energy. I don't know how they do it. It is the math they must do. It just goes right over my head. And then we give out the awards and have a lovely party in the evening. And on this year, it's over the summer solstice weekend. So we're having a solar-powered beach party.
Oh, fantastic. I love that.
It'll be very, very nice. So once everyone's had a lovely day on Brighton Seafront and had a few drinks in the evening, we stay over the night in Brighton, and those that wish, they can go on to Paris and then on to Geneva with our sister company, EV Rally Club, directed by Tom Druid, and that is the really hardcore rally, as you can imagine. It's a much further distance. It is really for the people that are ready to go for it.
Yeah, and there were quite a lot of those last year. So we didn't do the boat last year. No, we didn't, because it was, I think, when we found out that we got the mucker, we just didn't have the time. We couldn't. And actually, the other thing was, like I said, we were so new to it, Harrison. Honestly, we were so new. We were EV virgins,
Yeah. No, I can imagine.
Honestly, so when we had the you were saying about, everybody had to write their, what their percentage charge they had, etc. etc. Oh my God, we were only just getting used to the car, and there's my husband going, oh, I don't know where everything is, and so for us to actually get down to Brighton was brilliant.
That's what we love. So our partner last year was Motability Operations.
Yes.
So they have 650,000 vehicles on the road. They're the biggest fleet holder.
Yeah, they are
in the UK, and I'm sure probably in the world. And we had a lot of their customers who have just got new electric vehicles come and join us. We've given them the confidence there. You're with a lot of people who can handhold you on the way down to Brighton. Your EV is going to make it to Brighton, and if you really wanted, you can come to Paris with us, and you're going to be with 100 other vehicles. Everyone's really enthusiastic about them. Everyone's more than happy to help. Once you get down to Brighton, you can actually learn about the vehicle, learn about what energy tariff you need to go to. So we kind of see it as an education day as well for those that have never gone to electric vehicles and never used an electric vehicle, or the ones that are on the fence and about to buy one, because they can come down and if you want a test drive.
Yeah, I mean, I've got to say, when it came to the awards in the evening, we weren't expecting. We really weren't expecting. We didn't get anything. There was some. I've got to say, so I've interviewed Kevin Booker.
Yes.
On this podcast, he is like Mr. Efficiency, isn't he? I mean, he's a Guinness Book World Record holder, and he's fantastic.
He's brilliant. So, he was driving the BYD, one of the BYD vehicles last year, and he got some crazy efficiency. I just don't know how they do it. Along with, we had Warren Phillips, the chairman of EVA England, and he had some brilliant efficiency out of his Kia Niro. I want to say about 6.7 kilowatts per mile per kilowatt. That is insane.
Yeah, I know, and actually, so hopefully we'll be able to do it this year. I don't know whether we'd be able to do the whole thing, but actually now we've got our Hyundai Ioniq, and I've had some hints and tips from Kevin. Hopefully, we'll be able to increase our efficiency. And now that I've actually been driving it a lot longer, I kind of I know how to do this now.
We had Lindsay Warren, who is the same Ionic as you.
Yeah.
You've got the bigger battery, haven't you?
Yes, 38.5.
Yeah, so we had Lindsay Warren, who drove all the way from London to Brighton to Paris. He arrived to Paris with, I believe, about, I want to say 2% or 7%. And he didn't charge the whole way. So he made it all the way to Paris without charging. You know, that just shows what those vehicles can do. And the numbers that were coming out of that car were brilliant.
Yeah, and yeah, so he has got an Ioniq. So I'll have to have a chat with him about that as well. But
Yeah.
yeah, you do get used to all of this, you know. But like I say, for me and my husband last year, you know, brand new to it. I'd test driven, but for us both to kind of do it together.
Yeah, no, but I'm sure it's a nice way to kind of get used to the vehicle with amongst friends, if you like. To be able to drive down to Brighton, which does kind of feel like a big achievement, even though it's 60 miles, because you're with so many other people. You know, you cross the finish line. We put a massive finish line up on Brighton seafront. We have flag wavers down there. You know, it does feel like you've accomplished something really big.
Oh, definitely. I'll never forget last year. I've got to say this. I remember we'd got there and Kate Tyrrell and Leah Knight turned up I can't remember what they were driving. They turned up, they had the music on so loud. I think it was Spice Up Your Life or something.
Yeah.
And they were kind of going for it down Brighton seafront. And I was just like, oh my God, it did look amazing.
Such a great atmosphere. You know, there's so many EV events around. What's the difference between us and somebody else? Well, you've got a challenge getting down from London to Brighton. Once you get to Brighton, you have a display, test drives, bikes, scooters. In the evening, you then have a brilliant beach party. I mean, last year it was Soho House. This year is going to be brilliant. We've got some superstar DJs down there from Brighton. That's all I'm going to say. If that gives away any hints. And
oh my God, I've just worked out who you might be talking about. No way.
So you got to think about who else is in Brighton, but maybe. I
Okay.
can't confirm or deny just yet. And fully powered by solar. We completely unplugged off the grid. We used a lot of vehicle to grid last year. This year we're working with 3TI Energy Hubs, and they're hopefully bringing down their Papio unit to put on Brighton seafront, which would be brilliant. It's
fantastic.
Just working out the logistics of that. And it's just got such a nice, it's a nice vibe. So people buy their ticket, everything is included. They get a great lunch. They have a lovely evening with some lovely drinks, a nice welcome champagne reception and bits. And then the next day, for those that wish, they're going on to Geneva and on to Paris and then on to Geneva.
Do you know how far it is then? So how far is it? So the ferry would go from.
So obviously with the Tom Druid is running all of the international side. We're focusing on the Brighton side, so I'm not 100% on the details yet. But we're going from New Haven to Dieppe, which is a great crossing. We did that those that went to Paris last year used that crossing, and then I want to say it's about 600 miles from Dieppe to Geneva. And then once they get to Geneva, there's going to be, again, lovely ceremonies with awards, who's the most efficient. But that is really hardcore,
it will be.
Really fun and very, very much for the enthusiasts.
Yeah, definitely. Actually, I don't know why I'm saying and why I'm asking because and this was in a nice car, so sorry about this, but back in 2019 before lockdown, we drove from Reading over to Italy and we ended up stopping at various places, including Geneva. So I do know, and actually the roads over there are pretty decent.
It's like, I mean, the charging infrastructure as well is brilliant. We're looking at partnering with mobile charging companies. We had them last year as well, because we are really stretching the efficiency on these cars. It's not like we're just stopping whenever we feel like for a sandwich, but this is a hardcore energy trial. We've got mobile charging vehicles coming with us like Fast Charge, who can keep everybody topped up along the way. But it's really good fun.
Yeah, definitely. Like I say, we stopped at a few kind of because I suppose I thought initially that everybody would be going down together, but it wasn't, was it? So my husband was working out a route and stuff like that. So actually that was quite nice because we stopped at a few little picturesque places on the way down.
The photos, I mean, that's what for the first couple of years we said, everyone use this route. This is the way everyone should be going. But we realised, well, no, that's completely wrong. We want to see who can win. So who's going to find the best route? Who's going to get the route with all the downhill to regen, who's going to avoid the faster roads, and that's how we find some really interesting numbers compared to some people, and then people like Lindsay and Kevin Booker with super efficient numbers.
Yeah, I must admit, I do remember my husband. I was driving, and he took me up this tiny little narrow road, and there was somebody putting tarmac on a drive, and I had to get past this massive big tarmac vehicle, and I was just like, oh my god, where you're just kind of holding your breath, going, oh, this isn't gonna be good. But we did well. We were all right. We were absolutely fine. So the rules of the rally are it's just about efficiency then. So
you can pick whichever way you want to go. You can have whoever you want in your car. We had some crazy people last year that were duct taping up the door seals to maximise aerodynamics.
Oh God, I didn't see that.
I've forgotten the man's name. It was an MG ZS, and I saw him in the car park in the morning taping up all of his seals, all the way to Paris, that was. So every time he wanted to get out the car, he had to reseal the door, get his son to climb in through the window.
That's slightly dodgy, isn't it?
Oh, it was a bit different, but anything to get that award. But there's not many rules. It's not many rules. It's just to enjoy yourself and really have a great time.
And I do remember last year. So you were talking about the DJ for this year. I remember the DJ last year. I didn't even realise that they actually powered their decks through the car.
Yeah. So we had BYD. They were our automotive partner last year, and the problem with running events is, one, trying to get power to them is ridiculously expensive and really dirty. We don't need a lot of power. We just need, like you say, a DJ, lighting systems, bits like that, stages. So we thought, well, why don't we power everything off a BYD Atto 3 using vehicle to load? So that's just saved us, I don't know, £10,000 on generators, which we really don't want to do, which we've never done.
No, exactly.
Reasons. And it's a lot cleaner, and it's got a really cool, PR factor, and it's just a nice thing to do.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, that makes sense. So tell me about your story. How did you get to do all this? I mean, where have you been in PR since you kind of,
I've done this story so many times. It's a really weird story. So obviously, did all my usual bits in school. Rubbish at school. Dyslexic, dyscalculus. Didn't get on with school. Did business studies. Enjoyed business studies. Passed that quite well. Passed creative media, my GCSE, quite well. And then I really didn't know what I wanted to do. I had no idea really that I wanted to be involved in EV. I've always had a massive passion for EV ever since I think 2014 when the i3 came out. And I thought, wow, how can a car drive on electricity? I thought that was brilliant. So I always followed it, and I was like age 13, begging my parents to get an EV, and they're like, no, this is obviously 2013, a long time ago. So they were like, no way. Anyway, I went to college to study business management. I was there for 2 years, really enjoyed it, but I was getting a little bit bored of being sat in the classroom. So I left there. I managed to get an internship with Octopus Electric Vehicles in their marketing department. Yeah. So that kind of what really kick-started it for me. I was there for a couple of months working alongside Elspeth Brown and Charlie Fraser, doing some of their social media and their marketing. Loved it. But there wasn't an opening there after, so I was really disappointed. There was nowhere for me to go in EV at that time. I was 17. Sending my CV off to people with no real experience was quite fun when I didn't get any responses. And this is around COVID now, so everything was really shutting down. So I ended up working on a COVID testing site for about 12 months, where I was testing everybody. And one day, this big electric Jag pulled up for someone inside to have a COVID test, branded the London to Brighton Electric Vehicle Rally. And I've seen this car around Brighton before, so I thought I would break the rules a little bit and get the guy to lower the window and stand back and mention, if you ever hear of any jobs going in the EV world, let me know. And that was Bill Murray, the current director of the rally. And 2 days later, I had an email, and he was offering me a job to work alongside running the London to Brighton EV Rally and helping out with some PR on some of his other businesses. Fast forward 2 years, we set up Current PR, myself and Bill. I'm, focusing on the EV side. Current PR is a PR agency dedicated towards EV and renewable. Bill has 35 years of traditional PR knowledge. I have the EV knowledge and the social media, the digital marketing side. So that worked really well. And then fast forward, rewind 2 months ago, Tom Druid offered me to take his shares as a director in the rally, to take it further afield. Obviously, Tom's focusing on the international side. I really wanted to get Brighton seafront spot on, make everyone have a great time, and here we are. It's a weird journey. So all from working on a COVID testing site, me breaking the rules a little bit and saying, if you ever hear of any jobs going, please take my email. Let me know. 2 days later, I was working on the rally and setting up Current PR with Bill Murray. So I have to thank Bill very much for that, because I wouldn't be here without that. So we've got a great working relationship now in the EV industry.
That's fantastic for you to actually, but yeah, it's cheeky of you to actually approach him.
So glad I
did. But it's paid off, hasn't it?
Yeah, it really was, because without it, I can't see where I would be in the EV world without working on that COVID testing site, picking that exact electric car and mentioning, if you ever hear of any jobs going in the industry, let me know.
Wow.
It's a really small thing, and I really wasn't going to go over and introduce myself. I was so close not to doing it. So
oh my God,
so glad I did it.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's fantastic. That's an amazing. I love that. That's great. Good on you.
Story, isn't it? It just, I don't know how it all worked out like that. It's really weird. Now we're running the biggest, one of the only international electric vehicle rallies in the world, with 35,000 visitors on Brighton seafront. It's kind of a bit of a scary moment, but I love every minute of it. It's great fun, and working in something that I love and that excites me. It doesn't even feel like work.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, goodness me. So where would you like to see the rally going then in future? I mean, obviously, God, Geneva's a long way.
Geneva is a big stretch, and we've got some internal chats at the moment for the rally after Geneva, and Barcelona's popping up quite a lot.
Oh, nice.
I've always wanted to do a UK-based rally, so from maybe Brighton to Edinburgh or somewhere like that. I think that would be quite interesting. But there's lots of discussions going on. But growing my head, growing Brighton seafront and making everyone have an amazing sort of EV festival, EV event with great food and great entertainment is really like that's what I'm excited for.
Yeah, definitely. No, that's really good. What about other things that Current PR do? Because it's not just this. I mean, obviously this takes up a lot of your time, doesn't it? But yes. What other things are you in? What other projects are you involved in?
So we work with some amazing companies on promoting their vehicles, promoting their companies, PR side of things, digital marketing. We're recently working with a company called JLCEV, who are really interesting because they've had 35 years in traditional aviation, so creating bomb-proof doors, automatic doors. Wow. And I thought, well, how are we going to fit in with these guys? And they emailed us, well, this isn't going to work. I don't know anything about this. And then they were actually importing vehicles to have airside. So Heathrow Airport, Gatwick Airport wanted electric vehicles that they can have to replace some of their older fleet. And that's what JLC started doing. And then they realised, well, we need to... These vehicles, they're much cheaper for people to get into. You can get into a vehicle for £8,000, some of their vehicles now. We need to get this out to the everyday person, small businesses that want to have an electric vehicle, that work in London, that can't afford the ULEZ, and get them in an electric vehicle, electric van, starting from £8,000. So we're working with those guys at the moment who've got some amazing vehicles like the John Way, the Orca. We've worked on many other EV events. We're working on salary sacrifice with a company called the Electric Car Organisation, who are bringing a mix of AI and traditional salary sacrifice into leasing and making an amazing advice tool. So many different bits going on. It's just great fun.
Did you see me? My ears kind of when you said AI. I was just like,
honestly, you've got to go onto their website. It's just type in the Electric Car Organisation and speak to AI Dave. So It is a character, and obviously all based around AI that's partnered with ChatGPT and a load of manually uploaded information, who will tell you what vehicle works best for you. So I don't say I need a vehicle that's 250 miles range. I'm 6'6". I need to have lots of space in the front, and I also want my steering wheel to adjust. I don't want to pay more than £400 a month. And what can you find for me? It will then find a vehicle. It will then book a consultation with Electric Vehicle Organisation, with Eco, and it will then offer me a test drive, all through speaking to AI.
Oh my
And it
God.
works so well. It's not like you're speaking to Siri or Alexa. It understands everything.
Excellent. See, I get very excited when it comes to AI because
Give that one a try. You'll love it.
oh my God. Yeah, absolutely. Do you know, my son, who's 18, I don't think you wouldn't have met him yet, but actually, he doesn't like AI. He doesn't like the idea of AI. And I went, yeah, but James, we've had AI for years now because we've had a Google, we've got Google devices around the house.
That's
I
it.
said, you work with AI, so you can't say, and I do get it, and I do get how people get a bit worried about it, but yeah.
You've got to use it. I mean, you've got to use it to your advantage, haven't you? You can't say you don't like it, I'm never going to use it, and then be left behind. It's the future. People said the same about iPhones. Everyone had their Nokias. Oh, I don't like an iPhone. I can't type on the keyboard. Oh, I don't like electric cars.
Oh,
They
there's
don't
all
go
that.
far enough. And it's going to be we've seen it happen with the iPhone and the smartphone. We're going to see it happen with the cars, and then we're going to see it happen with the AI.
Well, AI's just come on so much in the last 12 months anyway, hasn't it?
It really has. It's especially when working so closely with a company like Eco, who have implemented AI into their whole business and completely changed their business model, and it's just been amazing. You've got to see, you've got to try this AI. It's unreal.
Yeah, some of the stuff it can do, and especially if you've got people who are techie that can actually do it, change things and, kind of create code off it and things. So yeah, I was going to say my brother-in-law uses it a lot as well, but I won't say what he does. But anyway, that's a different that's another story. But I was gonna actually, do you know what I was going to say? So we also bumped into each other at Cenex last year in that beautiful sunshine. That was so hot. I think it was about the only 5 days, one of 5 days in the UK that was hot.
I think it was so stood on that tarmac for 3 days in that heat it was tough by the end of it.
But you were there, and there was all sorts of weird and wonderful vehicles there as well, wasn't there?
Yeah, so we were there in partnership with Zemo, who are the micro-mobility, and they're focusing on L7E vehicles and lightweight vehicles. So we were invited, JLC EV were invited to show off one of their smaller vehicles, which is the JLC City One, that we're kind of targeting towards holiday parks, bakeries, flower deliveries, to local. We were showing it off to local authorities because that's a £10,000 vehicle. What vehicle can you get that's electric, brand new, warranted for 10 grand that you don't pay congestion on, that's small enough to fit down a little lane in Brighton, that's funky enough to get people looking at your company? When that's fully branded up, that's really got some road presence.
Cool. I'll have to have another look at
Another look
that
at that
one.
because they are
Yeah.
brilliant. Yeah.
Talking about, so what is what if we look back at the rally from
Yeah.
last year, what was your favourite electric vehicle?
Ooh, now I've got a couple because I've got some really interesting ones and then just some really cool ones. I loved the BYD Seal. We had that on display as its first out, and it was a prototype that just came on.
That was nice. I like that.
That
Yeah.
was a lovely car.
Yeah.
I've driven it recently, and it's just a really smart car.
Yeah. No, I do like it.
I used to have a Tesla Model S, and it kind of takes you back. That sort of style, that driving position is similar, but with a lot more improvements. And then we had the Lynchmobile. So Cedric Lynch, who was on Tomorrow's World for many years. He's got the coolest, craziest homemade motorbike. Who's done the rally? He's done the rally for the past 3 years. Brings that vehicle down, and it's just bonkers. It's got no place to put your feet. It's like a tiny little motorbike, and the efficiency it gets is off the charts.
Oh God, I don't know whether I saw that.
There
Okay.
was so much going on. Honestly,
Yeah.
you've got to stand at that finish line and watch the vehicles coming over to see every vehicle, because there's a lot of vehicles coming through.
Yeah. So right, so that was a motorbike. Were there any others then? Or any other quirky kind of four-wheelers that you liked?
Oh, we had some really cool cars from River Simple, who brought down 4 hydrogen vehicles that did come all the way to Paris with us, and they're like freewheelers, but I believe they're two-seater. They've got the doors that come up on the side like the Model X.
Yeah.
Really funky. They look like little like ladybugs, and if you see them coming down on the road. Um, of course, loads of like Porsche Taycans and stuff, which will always be my favourite EV at heart.
Were they?
Love a Taycan. That's a lovely vehicle, isn't it?
So what are you driving currently then?
So I'm currently in a Nissan Ariya, which is a brilliant car that has been provided by Drive Electric as our rally pace car. And
Fantastic.
that's taken us over to when we were planning for last year's rally. It took me over to France every other week. No problems. Got me all the way to Paris without having to stop. It's just a beefy car, perfect for the rally.
I was going to say because that is that's the vehicle that Chris and Julie Ramsey were driving, wasn't it?
Yes,
Doing the
yeah,
pole
yeah,
to
yeah.
pole EV.
It's a very solid vehicle. You know, I've had Nissan Leafs for years and years and years, and I've always loved them because they felt so solid and stuff. But they didn't seem to move on with the Leaf. You know, it still had
Mm,
mode charging, so it wasn't really suitable. They didn't really increase the tech from my eyes on it. So the Ariya was kind of a no-brainer because it had the fast charging, the big battery, the big car, and it's just a really well-built vehicle.
what size battery is it?
That one's only, believe it or not, that's got a 63 kilowatt battery.
Okay.
They do an 87, but 63 was more than enough for us. If I'm careful, I can make it to Paris without having to stop.
Yeah. Oh my God. Well, ours, like I say, ours is only 38.5, so this is a
But
lot smaller than that.
yours is super efficient,
Yeah,
so
true.
that's the way that it should be done. Smaller batteries, but focus on the efficiency,
Yeah.
because that
Yeah.
works really well.
It's about getting that happy medium, I suppose, isn't it?
I guess it's
Really?
not easy, is it? I suppose.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Harrison, it's been brilliant talking to you.
You
Um,
too.
so how do people apply to join the rally then?
Yep. So just give the rally a Google, the London to Brighton Electric Vehicle Rally. It'll be one of the first websites that pop up. You can buy your tickets on Eventbrite through the rally's website. It is you pay per car. So we're for the London to Brighton stage. It is £60 per car. That includes 2 people. That includes 2 lunches, 2 T-shirts, 2 rally bags, 2 evening tickets for the awards. Everything's included in that £60, and I promise you will have the best weekend paying that.
Brilliant. No, it was great. It was a brilliant experience, and if people haven't haven't done it, then it's definitely worth doing. I
Yeah,
mean, just just for the starting line, where you've got like hundreds of vehicles there and all really quirky ones. So I didn't see some of the ones you were saying, but I did look at. Was it like a Morris Traveller? Like,
yes, yeah, yeah. We
oh
had
my,
the Morris Minor, I believe, that came all the way to
yes.
Paris with us.
Oh my God.
That's been converted by 2 brilliant guys. They've done the rally since day one, and they're really for it. It has a range of, I believe, 60 miles. So it's a very tight squeeze. 3-pin charging only, but that's the type of vehicles that we love to have at the rally. You know, they're really interesting, quirky, and something a bit different.
Yeah, yeah, I couldn't believe it when I saw it, and it was such a good-looking car as well. So yeah, yeah,
And for those as well, if you are thinking about getting involved with the rally and you can't quite make the leap to come along, come down to Brighton Seafront on the day and see what the rally's all about.
mm,
We've got about 43 spots this year for exhibitors. Come and test drive some vehicles if you don't yet own an electric vehicle, or if you do, just come and have some fun in the vehicle.
absolutely. No, that's great. Definitely go and join. Harrison, it's been wonderful talking to you. Thank you ever so much for your time. Good luck with everything, and the whole getting the. I can imagine it's going to be a feat to organise the Paris to Geneva leg as well. So
It really is. I mean, I'm glad we got a bigger team this year.
Yes, definitely. But it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you ever so much for your time.
Thank you very much, Liz. Cheers.
All right. Well, listen, thank you. And to everybody else watching and listening, I shall see you later. Thank you. Bye. Thanks for watching this episode of Electric Evolution. If you enjoyed it, please don't forget to hit the like and subscribe buttons to stay connected with us. And if you're inspired by our journey towards a sustainable future and want to support our mission on a monthly basis, please check out our Patreon page at patreon.com/Electric Evolution Podcast. Your support really helps us to bring the latest insights and discussions in the world of clean energy, electric vehicles, electric vehicle charging and sustainability to you. If a regular subscription isn't what you're looking for, you can always consider buying us a coffee. Just head over to www.buymeacoffee.com/Electric Evolution Podcast. Every cup helps us to keep the electric evolution moving forwards. And if you're curious about our work in the EV infrastructure sector at Full Circle Continuous Improvement, why not visit us at www.fullcircleci.co.uk to find out more. And if you want to send me a message, you can always email me on liz@fullcircleci.co.uk. And finally, please don't forget to share this podcast if it sparked your interest. And let's keep spreading the word about all of these topics that we're covering. So, until next time, see you soon. Bye.